I'm a little bit worried. I've been having mic troubles today and yesterday. I think mic's okay. I kind of want to do, I don't know, more test streams. I gave it a dedicated USB-C port, and I'm using my old power supply again for my mic. So it should be good, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, what up, dudes? What up, what up, what up? Playing Witch Hunter Holy Night. I just finished watching Yoa Sensei. That's why I'm a little bit late. This is actually pretty good. It's ecchi. It's really, really ecchi, but I like it a lot. She's like just like ecchi Bochi. She's just an introvert that can't speak, that wanna be a sensei, and has ridiculously big titties. Bochi had big ass titties too. She's Sensei Bochi. She's Bochi if Bochi became a sensei. That's what she is. She's like yeah, I guess. She's like a super introvert. It's pretty cute. I kinda like her. I like Yoa Sensei. Himawari. I think that's her name. Hiyori. That's her first name. I don't remember her last name. I think it's Himawari. But yeah, I like her. She's good. That's my sensei. That's my sensei. That's my sensei. What's that for $4? What's this? Bullet hell? I don't know. I don't know about playing games just to test out the mic more. But I didn't know what else to play. I already finished RE9 Insanity. I could play RE4 original. That shit's fun. But I'm like, I don't know. I could play, what was it called? Evil Within for like the 5th time. Could do that. I could play, I don't know. Play a lot. I think it'll be okay. My mic. We'll see. We shall see. I'm just bummed out. The mic got staticky. Today. And I don't usually I would hear like the static on the audio, but I didn't even get to hear that. So it could get staticky without me knowing, which sucks. And 2022. I want to play more with this. Yeah. Is that Katsuruki? Her being butt naked? I like the art style of Senran Kagura. They made an ecchi one, right? Not ecchi, what's that shit called? Fuck. Erogi. With the artist, he helped make an erogi. I think I played it one time. It was pretty good. I just didn't like the NTR stuff. That shit sucks. But that was okay. Yeah, I guess besides Yoa Sensei, I don't really have anything else to talk about, right? I just watched Yoa Sensei. I made mac and cheese for dinner. And yeah, that's it, dude. Part of me was like, kind of want to watch Moose do his thing. But I could probably watch later. I could probably do like 2 hours. Yeah. Witch Hunter Holy Night. I can't play for too long because I got a work day tomorrow. So. Anyway, what up, dudes? Ripon CB here. Witch on the Holy Night. Oh, wow. I haven't heard that in a long time. When was the last time I heard that from? Holy crap. I have not heard that in a long time. What was it from? Obviously, that's Type Moon logo, but I think When was that? Was it from the... Did I mostly heard it from Stay Night? Or Holland Taraxia? Or Fate Unlimited Code? I don't know. Probably not that, naturally. That's a good logo. I like that a lot. I don't know why. It reminded me of something. Well, obviously, because I play Type Moon games. Chapter 2. Little Happening of Last Night Hope.
Tokai wa makai da. Kedo, narereba warito sumiyasui to wa omou.
Sojiro sighed listlessly. He looked down at the winter schoolyard below, lost in thought. December was written on the corner of the chalkboard. He could not believe 10 days had already passed since he transferred to the school. The last vestiges of autumn had faded with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. Fourth period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lantern and rambled on. While he had gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go and get up to speed in his classes. Lacking even the basic understanding most students learn in their early scholastic life, it was a battle for Sojiro to keep up. Even if he unable to grasp all the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything in the hope that he could make use of it down the road. Which is why losing himself in his thoughts was about the last thing he should have been doing. He would normally chastise himself for daydreaming, but troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in class that day. Today. Sojiro could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could not have been the winter in the city. It was much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. Others might conclude that it was because the courses were boring, but that seemed off the mark too. Sojiro did not share his classmates' opinion about their classes. On the contrary, he rather enjoyed his class time. No, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed.
いけない。こんなんじゃ気が散る一方だ。
He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. The rhythmic tick of the chalk were sending him into a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist their lullaby. And yet, he was still unable to focus on the class. Sojiro reflected silently, as was his custom, and sighed inwardly. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitation. The events of the previous night were the only thing it could be. With a chime to signal the end of the class, the teacher bowed and exited into the hallway. To see him off, the 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. Tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. The release from a difficult lesson was the start of lunchtime, the highlight of school life. Ha ha ha! Did they know? Natsu knows! Lunchtime's the best time in school. Isn't it everyone's favorite time of school? Because that's where you get to just hang out with the homies and eat food. And just talk shit for like 30 minutes or something like that. Misaki High Cafeteria was not particularly known for its quality of food. Complaints that the quality was below that of a private school went unheeded. And the same unique flavor appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with subpar quality led the majority of students to opt for boxed lunches instead. Sojiro Class 2C was no exception. The boys muscled as many as 10 desks into what resembled a long dining table. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into smaller tables or 2 or 3 desks would practice ease and start chatting within their cliques. Not a single student wasted even a second of their precious lunchtime. Where both sides differed in method, they shared a common goal. Sojiro was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period.
Oi! Kochiko Shizuki!
The voice came from the large makeshift dining table near the window. Hosuke Hinomi was beckoning him over while leaning back in his chair in a way that looked like he could fall backward at any second. He was regularly shot down by others in the class for being lazy and crass, but his earnest nature kept him from getting on anyone's bad side. Though something could be said for not being so forthcoming all the time too.
飯にしようぜ、飯。俺さ、昨日店の残り物もらいすぎたんだよ。春巻きだよ、春巻き。それを見た親父がさ、もらったもんは残すなってうるさくてさ。
It seemed his endgame was to find someone who might take pity on him and trade him for something better. The two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he was the one of the few people Sojiro knew before starting school. He was also the reason Sojiro was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase, can't live with them, can't live without them.
お、いいな。しずきも来いよ。今日は待ちに待った缶詰祭りをすっからさ。
ついに結婚するのかよ。誰か冷静になった方がいいんじゃないのか実際。
バカ、すげえ楽しいってきっと。そりゃパチモン臭いけど、カニ缶とか食い放題なんだぜ。サバ缶じゃなくて。
Damn, okay. Yeah, he's not wrong. It is processed to hell.
マジ
Nasty.
やったー俺も参加するコンビーフは一人1個それとも早い者勝ち
お前な、一人で何個も食えるもんじゃねえぞあれ。うまいのは最初の1個だけだって。
しずきたちが来るならノルマは一人7個に下がるのか。助かるな。
ところで木の実の弁当の中身なんか缶詰より硬そうじゃね？
The boys usually passed the time by making fun of each other on lunches, but today they were united against a common foe. A pyramid of countless cans stood in the middle of the table. They had all been taken from the pantry of a certain student house. The expiration date on them had been scribbled out with a marker. Oh, nasty!
よし、やろうども。各自毎缶切りの用意はいいな。食べるも地獄、残すも地獄。我ら5次元目の授業はないものと恐れぬ修羅となり、鉄の悪魔どもを平らげん。食材は下町の何でも紹介、マーケット中山からの提供です。
ヒューバカも休み休みイエーイ
The boys united as one and hoisted their can openers into the air.
ほら、しずきも食べようぜ。缶切りならまだあるからさ。
いや、君らの弁当の毒味はごめんだって昨日言ったはずだ。
Oh boy.
それにその缶詰半分以上賞味期限切れてるだろう。
Oh, he can read.
なんだよ、釣れねえな。
Quite inexplicably excited group of guys. Their real motivation seemed to be to spread the pain. But moved by their energy and conceding defeat, Sojiro got up from her seat and joined them. And before he could,
じゃあ私たちが釣り上げようかな。しずきくん、あんなの放っておいて一緒にどう？
another interested party joined the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair had called out to him. She had also tried to get Sojiro to join the track and field club several days earlier.
いや、そっちも遠慮したいな。できれば。
He answered with a troubled look on his face. On her table was nothing but a pile of fruit Sojiro had never seen before.
なんで？パパイヤとか嫌い？マ
Papaya.
ンゴーもあるし、ヤシの実だってあるし、内緒だけど夕張メロンもあるんだから。
That sounds kind of good. The members of the fruit group pumped their fists in unison at the last delicacy. U-body melon. Alright. You caught my interest, Nasu. Oh, I think I've seen that before. U-body melon. Cantaloupe. Wait a minute. Oh, it's Japanese cantaloupe. Prized luxury fruit from U-body in Hokkaido. That does look kind of good. I mean, isn't that just a cantaloupe? Whatever, melon. I had that. I think I had that before. It's pretty good. It looks familiar. Maybe... What the hell is a cantaloupe then? Oh god. Okay, I had a cantaloupe. I don't think I ever had U-body melon. They look the same. Oh my god. Alright. I mean, if it's anything like a cantaloupe, but better, I'm sure it's good.
待て、なんだヤシの実って。あれ食えるもんなの？
What? Yeah, you can eat coconuts.
マンゴー余ったら回してほしいな。
I like a mango too.
バカ肉食え肉そんなんだから貧弱な体してんだぞお前ら
Damn, carnivore diet. Sojiro couldn't keep track of all the voices flying across the room.
わかるのはどっちも破滅的だってことだけだ。
What? That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. His tendency to accept other goodwill at face value occasionally left him frozen with indecision. Not accustomed to regular human interaction, he was unable to judge it when it was or was not appropriate to turn someone down. Someone tapped the lost little lamb on the shoulder.
ほっとけほっとけ。いちいちここのバカどもに付き合ってちゃ人生台無しだ。適当に流しとけばいいんだよ。ほら、お前らもな、善良な羊を悪の園に引きずり込んでんじゃねえよ。
An inappropriately loud voice echoed throughout the classroom from behind him.
副会長。
Sojiro turned around to see a boy about a head taller than him. With long hair, while unkept, had been brushed back, giving it an appealingly windswept look. His attractive features belied the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking Sojiro, he was an extremely attractive boy, capable of captivating anyone with so much as glance at him. In most cases, such a boy presence would be met with awe and respect, however.
なんだよ、副会長様のお出ましかよ。
てめえらのバカ顔にはコリゴリだって学食に陣取ってたんじゃなかったのかよ。
へへへここは見ての通りボンクラどもが集う貧民街でございますよ王子はほら A 組の綺麗どころとカフェでお茶でもしてればいいじゃない
With the babes, Class A.
またしずき呼びに来たのかよ。青子女子といい飛び丸殿下といいしずきなんかヤバいことしちゃったのか。
しずきくんは校則違反しないじゃん。ちょっとそれ以外のルール破るだけで。ってことはやっぱり築地くん青崎に振られてからそっちに走ったって本当だったのね。
Then switch teams. They continued to give him a hard time. Sojiro could not help but feel sorry for him. The class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He glared at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice.
相変わらず無駄に元気があって結構じゃねえかてめえら。そんなに活力たぎってんなら冬季特別清掃班にだって参加できるよな。おい、今んところ自主的に申し出てるのは全校で一人しかいねえんだ。西井全員が参加すりゃ俺も青崎も肩の荷が下りるってもんなんだがよ。
The menacing growl in his voice contrasted greatly with the boy's well-constructed looks. Both Team Canned and Team Fruits, words were doused like a fire being smothered. This was partly due to their fear of the boy, but mostly due to their fear of the Special Winter Cleaning Team. Yes, the Special Winter Cleaning Team. Joining meant spending part of your winter break cleaning up the old school building in the mountainous rear courtyard that had been neglected by the previous 2 student councils. It was a form of legalized torture that could potentially run 3 whole days of your winter break. And forget about any compensation in the form of extra credits. No, it was pointless volunteer work for a student council project. It was practically a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer.
いや僕らちょっと体弱いんでスミッチョで缶詰食べてますね。
私たちも貧血気味でこうやって果物食べてないと死んじゃうっていうか、冬休みはもう予定いっぱいっていうか。
All of the students but one scuffled away.
よし、昼食はやっぱり静かにやらねえとな。1年坊主の教室より2年の教室の方がやかましいなんて苦情、いい加減にしやがれよ、アホども。
Hold on. The mob meekly scurried away. Sojiro turned to join them, but as he did,
あ、お前はこっちだ、宗次郎。
the hand of his shoulder held him in place.
だよ、生徒会応募。人んちのテーブルマナーまで指図してほしくねえよな。
Hinomi cursed him under his breath. To his friend, the vice president turned to go.
はあ、上等じゃねえか、木の実。いいぜ、お前が記念すべき2人目だ。
The vice president must have heard everything Hinomi said, because he gave a thumbs up before figuratively jabbing it in his eye.
はあ？何言ってんですかあいつ。あれ自主的なイベントじゃん。いくら副会長だって強制はできないですよね。
The problem child C laughed merrily.
そりゃ昨日までの話だ。会長の提案が学校側に受理されてな。本日付で生徒会役員は強制力のある推薦権をもらえたんだよ。
What?
特に会長と副会長の推薦は絶対だ。拒否した場合、学校側はともかく青崎が何するか俺には止められねえから、そのつもりでな。
げえ、それ事実上の死刑宣告じゃん。生徒会マジ応募。
Hinomi, terrified, shrieking, continued behind him as the vice president and Sojiro left the classroom. They left the classroom. Oh, they went to go eat somewhere
お
else.
前も大変だな、宗十郎。
あんたも割と暇なんだな、副会長。
The two entered the empty student council room. Misaki High Student Council, they used a 2-room. One was a large office specifically made for the student council. The second was the archive room, once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As the latter of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making an already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The two students sat across from one another. Tobimaru Tsukiji. He was the son of the chairman of Misaki High School and the vice president of the school council. Like Sojiro, he was in the second year and first met the transfer student a week earlier when the task of looking after him was dumped onto the student council.
副会長はやめろって。クソったれな話だが、俺は所詮会長の犬だからな。
As self-deprecating as his words were, he hardly seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimaced at it before taking a bite. What the fuck? Okay. I mean, the 100-calorie energy bar sacrifices flavor for efficiency. But somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing on it like a piece of jerky.
そうか。でも犬は良くないな、飛び丸。
Sojiro sat in a chair with a concerned look on his face.
あ？犬がどうしたって？
犬は良くないって言った。例えが違う気がするし、何より怖いぞ、あれ。
Depends.
なんだよ。山奥育ちのくせに犬が怖いのか？
Oh,
そり
wild
ゃ大抵
dogs.
の生き物は怖いけど、
犬は別格だ。徒党を組んだ野犬ほど始末に追えないものはない。足の速さも脅威だけど、何より執念深すぎる。坂だろうと追いかけてくるし、最後の一匹になるまで引かないんだぞ。
Damn. Sojiro opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green cloth, 3 beautifully made triangular balls. Rice balls.
ショックだ。
ショックって何が？
いや、そんなこの世のものとは思えない握り飯を見たのは初めてだ。思わず絶句しちまった。
それどっちなんだ？
褒めてるんだよ、バカ。
Sojiro was always confounded by phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Euphemism and subtle sarcasm were often lost on him. It was only on rare occasions, like this one, that he chose to confirm what was being said. Tobimaru had come to suspect that Sojiro had a very black and white way of seeing things.
ところで、その固まった小麦粉みたいなの、美味しいのか
？Sojiro stared at the energy bar with a curious look on his face.
まずくはねえが、うまくもねえよ。まあ、試してみる分には止めねえが。人間、何事も手間暇惜しむようになっちゃおしまいだぜ。
Tobimaru quickly finished off his bar, put another one on the table, and grabbed one of Sojiro's rice balls. Sojiro failed to notice the rudeness of the forced exchange and gave the preferred energy bar a try.
なんだか土を食べてるみたいだ。
違いない。遊びをなくせば人生こんなもんだって見本だな。
At a principle, Sojiro labored over his energy bar, cringing all the while. He was both curious of the unknown and loath to leave something unfinished.
今無理に平らげる必要はねえぞ。そいつの利点は携帯食ってところだからな。素で味気ないが、食えるうちは味が落ちないのがいいところだ。まあ、そっちはともかく。どうだ、少しは慣れたか？
ああ、飛丸や青崎が気を使ってくれているからね。
Tobimaru turned his eyes up to the ceiling, unable to handle Sojiro's carefree smile. As absent-minded as Sojiro might have been, expressions were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like poison to someone as self-absorbed as Tobimaru.
だから青崎は来ねえんだよな。
He took a bite from the rice ball to steer himself away from such thoughts. Though now cold, the rice had managed to maintain its freshness, startling Tobimaru.
ん？いや待て。気を使ってんのは俺だけじゃねえか。青崎なんてお前が転入した日に彼迷惑だから見張ってて
なんでそこで君が怒るんだ？
いや、だからだな。お前が学校になれるよう陰ながら見守ってんのは俺で、青崎は生徒会室で全校生徒の弱みを集めてるだけって話だ。面倒な苦労してんのは俺だけじゃねえかって。
Tobimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculous he sounded. Sojiro, rightly so, knew it was nothing to get this upset over.
いいさ。青崎に言いつけられなきゃこうなることもなかったしな。
You know what young Alco kind of reminded me of? She kind of reminded me a little bit of Tosika from yesterday's stream. But today, she honestly, the more they talk about her, the more the students talk about her. She kind of reminded me of a little bit of Akiya, if I'm thinking. Because isn't Akiya also, like, wasn't she student council president too? I don't remember. I felt like she was.
知ってるか？
But
あいつ、どうして俺にこんな役させたと思う？
but everyone likes Akiya though.
副会長だからだろ。
Tobimaru's handsome face went dark.
あのな、 どうして副会長が転入生一人にかかりっきりにならなくちゃいけねえんだよ。いいぜ。機会があったら青崎本人に聞いてみな。あいつの本性がわかるからよ。
He snatched another bite of the rice ball while grumbling under his breath. There it was again. Rice grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth, and more so that betrayed its humble description, which must have been delicately molded by a master chef rather than havishly clumped into a ball.
そして何よりこの塩加減、中の具から染み出した玄妙な醤油加減はどうだ。食欲をそそるどころか脳を食欲だけにするような。おお。
飛び丸、思ってることが口に出てるみたいだけど。
ああ、いや、それほどのショックだったってわけだ。なあ、その字、これ具は何だ？
It was only natural to inquire about the unexpectedly delicious bite. He had been nibbling around the edges and had not yet reached its center.
ああ、それはイナゴ。
Oh.
ありえねえ
Yeah, he definitely country. Okay. The vice president choked on his cough. He had assumed that Sojiro would prefer earthly ingredients instead of seafood on account of his mountain life, but he never expected he would use grasshoppers.
くそ、食う前に言えよな。信じられねえぐらいうまいと思っちまったじゃねえか。
ああ、今のは嘘だよ。
What? They lock eyes for a moment.
本当は鮭。いくらなんでもイナゴはね。
おお、そうだよな。いや、安心した。いくらなんでもイナゴはねえよな。
ああ、こんな都会で身の締まったイナゴが手に入るもんか。
As curious as those words were, Tobimaru decided to let them go.
たく、どっちにしても冗談きついぜ。危うく吐き出すところだったじゃねえか。らしくねえぞ、宗次郎。
Damn.
君が青崎の悪口を言うからだ。
Oh, damn. What? Sojiro closed his eyes as he continued to chew on his rice balls. I wonder, what was Takeuchi's mindset when he drew Sojiro for this visual novel? What did Natsu tell Takeuchi to draw Sojiro? He's like, alright, this is Sojiro being upset, right, at the vice president for talking smack at Aoko. I want you to draw him infuriated. And Takeuchi's like, infuriated? Sojiro? What would Sojiro look like when he's mad? Did he do this? Little furrow brow right here. Little frown right here. Perfect. Takeuchi to go. Tobimaru watched incredulously as Sojiro made no attention to hide his disapproval.
おい、今のはさすがに聞き捨てならねえぞ。俺が青崎の悪口を言ったから意趣返しをしたと、そういうことか？
Sojiro continued chewing. The country boy's silent protest said all that needed to be said. The vice president suddenly looked like he has been struck by lightning.
なんてこった。お前、まさか青崎に惚れてんのか？そうなのか？そうなんだな。おい、眠ってねえで起きろ。
Tobimaru flew out of his chair and violently shook Sojiro by the shoulder. Sojiro opened his eyes.
そうか。お前は1年前の惨劇を知らないんだな。知ってりゃ、そんなストレートな破滅願望を持つこともなかったろうに。
君の言葉には誤解が含まれてるけど、それは後にする。それより、1年前の惨劇って？
Alright, remember, that's Sojiro angry face. Okay. Tobimaru regained his composure and sat down after a moment thought.
仕方ねえ。この手の噂をするのは好きじゃねえんだけどな。
Tobimaru reassured himself that it was in Sojiro's best interest as a young man to know.
あれは青崎がまだ1年の頃の話だ。あの頃はみんな入学したばっかりで、青崎がどんな性格か誰も知らなかった。
Nobody knew it.
あいつ外見は文句なしに美人だからな。そりゃ男どもは狂気乱舞したもんさ。
Little did they know that soon after they would go crazy for an entirely different reason.
4月5月はもう上を下への大騒ぎだよ。あの時ばかりは上級生も下級生もなかったな。野郎同士の牽制、共闘、果ては決闘まで。まあよくも騒いだもんさ。青崎に近寄るだけでも大変だったんだぜ。
なんでそんなよくわからない事態になるんだ？
そりゃ青崎は一人きり、命知らずな野郎は延べ100人ほどいたからだよ。
Damn, 100 dudes.
一人一人青崎とランチしても3ヶ月かかるだろ。だからまずは男同士でつまんねえ暗闘があったのさ。まあいい、わからねえならそこは飛ばそう。所詮負け犬どもの話だしな。でな、そんなどうでもいい戦いを勝ち残った奴らは列なしで1年の女に言い寄ったわけだ。青崎はあれでなんていうか、相手のなけなしの誠意じゃなくてあれか、勇気、そういうのを無視できずに認めちまうやつだからな。言い寄ってくる相手を可能な限り丁寧に断ってた。が中にはそれで勘違いしちまうやつもいてよ。3年のある野郎がこれは脈ありと見て青崎に何度も言い寄ったんだよ。多分そいつ頭がおかしかったんだ。今にして思うとそうとしか思えん。
Incidentally, Tobimaru decided to gloss over the fact that the student was also the former student council president.
学園ばかりか、青崎の家まで押しかけたそうでな。あまりにしつこいんで青崎も堪忍袋の尾が切れたんだろう。
What happened?
ちょっと口にするのははばかられる方法で振ったんだよ。
Oh,
結果そいつは自分から他校に転入希望したばかりか、三崎町からも逃げ出しちまって、青崎も1ヶ月ばかり自宅謹慎を食らった。
did she beat the shit out of him? I think she beat the shit out of him.
世に言う血の公会堂事件だ。詳しく知りたけりゃ本人はまずいな。新聞部にでも行け。あそこの部長は命知らずだから、聞けば面白がって教えてくれる。
飛び丸、その具体的な表現を恋に避けてないか？
仕方ねえだろ。理事長の息子だろうがなんだろうが、怖いものは怖えし、高校ぐらいは無事卒業しとかねえとな。うちの女子の制服見るたびに規制を上げるトラウマなんて持ちたくねえよ。
Wait. Sojiro tilted his head to the side of confusion. Tobimaru had lost him with that comment.
まあいい。それより、なんで青崎なんかがいいんだよ、宗次郎。
He tilted his head again, this time to the other side.
おい、お前、本当に青崎が好きなのか？単に胸がドキドキ言ってるだけなら、それは恋じゃなくて恐怖だってオチもあるぜ。
Okay.
いくらその字がぼんやりでも、理由ってもんがあるだろう。
He tilted his head even further. What Tobimaru was saying sounded off, but Sojiro decided not to press the matter. All the more because he found many of his emotions towards Aoko Aozaki to be incomprehensible.
そうだな、おかしい。
Aozaki.
俺はあまり彼女を知らないのにね。
That's because they had not truly spoken to each other since the day she showed him around. Every time Sojiro tried to talk to her, she immediately got up and left. As fate would have it, to end up working together that recent Sunday, but made only idle chatters on the way back. Oh, that's from chapter 1.5. I wonder why that's optional. Why you could skip it. That's weird.
けど飛び丸、君は知らないだけなんだ。時々なんだが、誰かの視線を感じて振り返ってみると、いつ失敗するかを心配して見ている人がいる。飛び丸の言う通り、ただ廊下で俺を見かけて単に監視していただけなのかもしれない。本当は俺のことなんて気にせず素通りしたいのかもしれない。けどどんな種類であれ、彼女の心配は本物だ。それにここが一番大事だと思うんだけど、実際の話、青崎のそういうところのおかげで俺は助かっていたりするんだ。
His tone was measured and sincere. Tobimaru sighed with a tinge of regret. If not for those words, he would have introduced Sojiro to a more suitable girl with whom he could have lived out the rest of his school days in peace. He never went to such lengths for his other friends. Generally speaking, if it was some benefit to him, he was unafraid of exploiting another. If they were no use, he didn't bother getting involved with them. That was how Tobimaru Tsukiji operated. Sojiro happened to be the type of person who provided no benefit to Tobimaru, yet somehow sparked in him a desire to help. It was not that friendship was completely alien to him. He just did not have many people he felt that close to. So Sojiro had really fallen for Aoko. It was not his place as a friend to try to change his mind.
やれやれ。結局惚れてるやつには理由なんていらねえんだな。
そんなことはない。理由なら一つある。彼女を一目見たときに綺麗だなって思ったぞ。
ん？
Tobimaru's shoulders slumped.
なんだ、あんだけ恥ずかしいセリフ言っといて、要は外見に惚れてますな。結局見てくれかよ、宗次郎。
綺麗なものに見とれるのはいいことじゃないのか？自分を綺麗に見せる努力をしているんだから、外見から内面を判断するのはそんなおかしな話じゃないと思う。
That sounded like a sophism to Tobimaru, but he had no counterpoint to offer.
しょうがねえ。わかったよ。この話はもうやめよう。その字が誰をてめえの女にするか、俺の知ったことじゃねえし。
Now, Tobimaru was mistaken about one major point during this whole conversation, namely that Sojiro was not head over heels in love with Aoko and hoped to go steady with her. He merely liked her as a person. Nobody could have foreseen the massive calamity that would be caused by the simple misunderstanding. Damn! Is this Nasu writing? He never did this before, did he? I mean, this is his first... Technically, Witch on the Holy Night is his first work, right? That he wrote in high school. But it never really got published till like later, I guess. But... I never seen Nasu did this. Did he do this in Stay Night and Tsukihime? OG and even Remake? I mean, he does foreshadow, but this one's like, I mean, he's straight up telling you right there. Foreshadow right there. That's pretty funny.
だがよ、一つだけ忠告しておくぜ、宗次郎。
Feels like a little bit of, I mean, it still feels like Nasu, but that's pretty interesting to see.
青崎は喧嘩をした相手だろうと別に嫌うわけじゃない。逆に言えば親切にしたって別に好かれるわけでもない。いい例が俺だ。
He spoke of a pained sigh, as if opening old wounds from the past.
そうか。詳しく。
おう、昔な、あいつがあんまりに独善的だったんで、つい手を挙げかけちまったことがある。半年前の夏だ。1年もあいつと生徒会やってたもんだから、俺も女っつうより戦友って気になっててな。つい勢いで平手打ちをしようと右手を上げた。我ながら 4番バッターも角也という腰のひねり。確かな実感とともに俺は勝利を確信したもんさ。
Damn, woman beater. He had a distant look in his eyes as his words trailed off.
翌日になってこりゃ完全に敵扱いされたなと覚悟して生徒会室に行ってみりゃ、で以来あいつと俺は会長と副会長で収まってる。
Damn, really? Alright. So he goes through for a year. Sojiro sighed at his story. He then said with absolute confidence,
今の話を総合すると、君は単にのろけたいのか？
clearly he had missed the point entirely.
なわけあるか。今の話のどこに甘酸っぱい要素があんだよ。俺としちゃあいつを女として見なくなった決定的な事件だったんだがね。
Okay.
なんだ、違うのか？
A look of disappointment flittered across Sojiro's face. Tobimaru revised his opinion. Sojiro was something of a simpleton, but there was a quality to him that Tobimaru could not quite place.
とにかくだ。俺が言いたいのは、青崎青子の好き嫌いの基準ってのは普通じゃないってことだ。いいことをすれば好かれる、気に入らないことをすれば嫌われるってわけじゃねえんだよ。あのお姫様は。
Ohime-sama. Damn, Natsu likes to create these student council president types, huh? I think about this Tosaka, this Akia, now this Aoko. And that's on all three of his series. He really liked the student council president type. That's a heroine. Sojiro answered that he would keep it in mind as he looked to the clock. They had been talking for a while, and lunch was almost over.
もう君からの話はないか？
And they all kind of have similar personality too. Like, you're like the aggressive, independent woman type, if you want to call it that. I don't know.
あ？初めからねえよ、そんなの。
ん？
Why had Tobimaru even brought him here in the first place? Sojiro tilted his head and wondered, but shook it off to deal with the more pressing matters at hand.
よし。じゃあもう少し付き合ってくれ。飛丸に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
ん？
Tobimaru sat up straight, having never seen Sojiro's face look so serious before. Sojiro set aside his rice ball and cleared his throat.
実は昨日、こんなことがあって。
He spoke solemnly, and as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before. He's talking about Alice. Probably talking about Alice.
しずきくんいる？
It was 10 to 12, and lunchtime was quickly coming to an end. Her face popped into Class C as lively as ever, as if it were an everyday occurrence. Aoko Aozaki announced her presence. While Aoko wasn't part of Class C, she didn't let it bother her as she casually entered the classroom. In contrast, the baby birds who had been noisily chirping while eating lunch quickly quieted and began to arrange their seats.
どういう意味よそれ。
She bristled internally before looking around the room. She could not see the male student she had come here to find. She hardly stood out, so she thought he might be hitting in a corner somewhere, but that appeared to not be the case.
有里くん、出席番号12番のしずきくんは？
Ako kept her tone professional.
俺？しずきならさっき飛丸殿下が連れて行ったよ。
Denka. Prince. Or, yeah, His Highness. Tobimaru. What the heck? No, OG is Prince. Denka. His Highness Tobimaru. The boy was shocked that she actually knew his name. One might think that the reason students refer to Tobimaru Tsukiji by royal title was because of he was the chairman's son, but it was actually because he acted like royalty. In fact, the vice president was said to have taken a liking to the title.
飛び丸があいつしずきくんと仲いいの？
She seemed surprised. The class seemed surprised at her surprise.
いいも悪いも築地くんが男子と仲良く話してるのって今まで見たことなかったよ私たち。あ、木の実くんはバカだから別だけど。
そうだよな。初めは殿下もあんまり話してなかったけど、3日もしたら楽しそうに口喧嘩してたもんな。
ま、しずき相手に突っ張っても仕方ないじゃん。あいつ変だけどいいやつだし。
そうよね。いい人だもんね、宗十郎くん。
Having recomposed themselves, Class C started chatting again. Akko listened for a bit before turning around and leaving the class with a leader. All the Sojiro talk finished as quickly as it had started. Lunchtime was coming to a close in the student council room. Sojiro, having told his story, was smiling in satisfaction. Tobimaru, still sitting across from him, was frowning.
さあ、感想を聞かせてくれ。
Sojiro told his yarn as best as he could. Tobimaru fingered his brow as if he was angry or concerned.
なあ、ソノジ。
Sonoji.
人をバカにできるほど器用なやつじゃねえよな。
失礼な。器用な方だぞ、俺は。
His response only confirmed Tobimaru's suspicions. It had to be one of the two possible conclusions. That what Sojiro had just told him was true. Or that Sojiro was so tired that he must have been hallucinating at the time. Tobimaru sincerely hoped it was the latter.
宗十郎、率直に言って俺はお前が気に入っている。嘘のない人間なんてのは人間じゃねえ。俺は人間嫌いだからそんなお前さんが気に入ってたりするんだが、そんなやつまで馬鹿げたことを言い出したら俺は明日から何を頼りに昼飯を食えばいいんだ。
学食で食べればいいんじゃないか？
Hearing his suggestion, Tobimaru's face darkened.
わかった。はっきり言おう。それは幻覚だ。幽霊の正体見たり枯れ尾花ってやつだろうさ。それでも納得いかないってんなら、いい精神科を紹介してやる。
それが君の感想か。よし、ならいいんだ。
As bitter as Tobimaru's words might have sounded to most, Sojiro swallowed them whole.
そりゃ俺だって神隠しの類だと思ったよ。けど都会じゃもしかしてそれもありなのかもしれないだろ。確かめたかったのはそこなんだ。
Satisfied, Sojiro finished off his last rice ball and neatly folded the cloth.
おい、すると何か？お前は都会の人間は口から火を吹いたり腕が伸びたりするのが普通だと思ったのか？
Who was breathing fire? Remember in the Alice fight? Oh, what? Only have 2 water bottles? Fuck. That's okay. Yeah, I don't remember anyone breathing fire in the Alice fight. Were they?
まあ普通じゃないけど特別でもないんじゃないかと思ったんだ。
I don't know how to hold this mouse.
ここは山にないものが溢れている何でもありの場所だ。だからそれぐらいやってのける人だってもしかしているのかなと。
His face was as serious as it was made Tobimaru realize just how big a culture shock Sojiro must have been experiencing. Living up in the mountains with no electricity, in a place where the night sky was at it always had been, where humans were just one organism in nature's garden. It makes sense that those conditions would create a boy like him. Damn, man, you know, all this talk about humans and stuff. Isn't it kind of crazy how one species ruled the world humans ruling like pretty much all of planet Earth, putting its foundation and stuff to have conveniences only for humans like electricity and running water. And that's crazy. The idea of children growing up so pure was the appealing one. But maybe it was natural to forego civilization when your population was so small. Or perhaps it was so simple a world that sense of knowledge was deemed irrelevant. It was precisely because the city life offered him so much that it was impossible up till now that he had come to the conclusion that anything was possible here.
安心しろ。確かにこっちにはタチの悪い奴らばっかりだけどな。そんな魔法使いみたいな奴はいねえよ。
Mahotsukai.
そうだといいんだけど。
But Soichiro seemed unsure. And on Tobimaru's part, there were things to Soichiro's story that he found hard to swallow. Whether true or not, the incidents Soichiro had described was disturbing.
まあ、事の真偽というか、どんな間違いでそう見えたかは置いておいてだ。結果だけ見れば、うちの生徒が夜の公園で人を殺したってことになる。しかも双方控えめに表現しても普通じゃねえ。
Oh, you know, Dan, Akko and Alice said they were going to do something at the park? I wonder if that's what Soichiro is describing. As a newcomer to town, Soichiro assumed that everyone his age was a student at the school, but better or worse, he was right.
一人は火炎放射器を持って、もう一人は、まあなんだ、なぎなたでも持ち出したのか、刃物らしきものが何メートルも伸びたときた。
Soichiro bobbed his head up and down as he listened to the disbelief in Tobimaru's voice. Hearing it repeated by someone else, he could see how someone might think he was taking them for a ride.
正気を疑うな。尋常じゃないぞその話。
宗十郎、お前、実は俺をからかってんだろ。
いや、全く。けどまあ、都会にはそんな人間はいないんだろ。なら飛び丸の言う通り、夢でも見てたんだ。ここのところアルバイトと試験が重なって辛くて。
Winter break was just around the corner, and the end of term's exams were but a week away. Both were proving formidable opponents for Soichiro.
俺は基本ができてないから、人の倍程度の勉強じゃ追いつけない。ほら、勉強ばかりしているとノイローゼをするんだろ。
そりゃするんじゃなくてなるものだが、まあ、何にせよ、やりすぎ飲みすぎはよくねえわな。試験前ぐらいはバイト減らしたらどうだ？
減らしてはいるんだけどね。年末ってアルバイトを休む人も多くて、その代行も頼まれがちだし。
He shrugged helplessly. It was obvious from his words that he had been busy. Even if he was not going crazy, lack of sleep could have caused him to daydream, even if this all did go down in the middle of the night.
なんだか大変そうだな、宗十郎。
ああ、実はかなり参ってる。
Soichiro nodded with a pained look in his face. What was strange, however, was that he did not look the least bit tired.
泣き言言わねえのは感心するけどな。お前、新郎は顔に出ないたちか？ん？
そりゃ、新郎はどこも痛まないからね。
As he answered, Soichiro looked up at the clock on the wall. Lunchtime was almost over.
飛び丸、時間だ。
ああ、もうそんなに経ったか。気にせず先に行ってていいぜ。俺はまだ用があるからよ。
What? You could just skip class to do student council work. Soichiro watched as Tobimaru made a gesture that seemed to limit the life of the student council member. His eyes looked as if they were looking at a piece of art and not understanding its value.
授業をサボれる身分っていうのは羨ましいな。
Yeah, I was just saying that.
そういうの、飛び丸が嫌いな手抜きじゃないのか？
そりゃ誤解も甚だしい。俺の欠席は手抜きじゃねえ。特権ってやつだと言ったろ。
The vice president angrily defended himself as he stood up. The transfer student merely gazed at him unfazed.
おいおい、あれだけ説明したのに全然分かってなかったのか。しょうがねえ。まず座れ。いいか、その字。
No, he's gonna be late for class.
常人を上回る英気と幸運を兼ね備えながら、座することなく精進してきた俺でも、ここを卒業しちまえば裸一貫になっちまうんだぞ。ひでえ話だ。てめえの家柄を活用できんのはあと1年ちょいだけなんだぜ。これの一体どこが羨ましいってんだ。普通一生続くはずの親の七光ってやつが、俺の場合はたった3年間しかねえんだからな。となりゃ有効なうちに使っておかなきゃもったいなくておちおち眠ってもいられねえ。ああ、嫌だ嫌だ。何が嫌かって、バカどもとガン首並べて金勘定するのが嫌だ。たく、嫉妬渦巻く大人の世界じゃ、俺のオブラートみたいな心なんてパックリ飲まれて溶けちまうこと受け合いだろうさ。
Well, he must have been joking. Sojiro took his tone to be completely sincere. He listened as he envied Tobimaru's ability to be so open about his feelings. From his frame of reference, there was nothing he could do but take Tobimaru for his word. When
あら、そんな権利なんて留年すればいくらでも引き延ばせるのに。なんなら協力してあげましょうか。
the door to the student council room flew open, washing away Sojiro's half-hearted response to his friend. This frosty statement destroyed the warm atmosphere of the room, and it marked the abrupt end to Tobimaru's Tsukiji reign here.
いや、いい。自分の夢は自分の力だけで叶えようと常々思ってるんだ。
そなら今みたいな恥ずかしいこと力説しないでね。廊下にまで聞こえてたわよ、副会長さん。
Not missing a beat, Aoko Aozaki stepped inside the room. Her dark hair was slightly disheveled, as if she had been running. Her gaze missed the sitting Sojiro entirely and was focused completely on her ranting vice president.
頑張れ、飛び丸。
Sojiro quietly get up to head back to his classroom.
割と薄情なんだな、お前って。
Tobimaru grumbled in front of Aoko.
だって時間がない。
だから、そういうのが薄情とだな。
He cut himself off. Aoko briefly shifted his gaze to Sojiro.
時間がないのは私も同じよ。あなたにはいつも振り回される。
Not a complaint. It was her honest opinion.
なんだ、要件は宗十郎かよ。
安心なさい。あなたにもあるから。
Her eyes shimmered with a murderous glee. It was slightly different from the more sullen gaze to which Tobimaru had grown accustomed. For whatever reason, Aoko's mood seemed worse than usual.
しずきくん、あなた、走るのと泳ぐの、どっちが好き？
Aoko asked abruptly. Sojiro frowned a little before saying he was fine with either one.
ダメよ、一つにして。
泳ぐ方かな。けど、どうして？
あなたがまだどこの部にも所属してないから。
A succinct reply, one that left no room for Sojiro to object.
うちの校則読んだわよね。生徒はただ一人の例外もなく、部活動に参加しなくてはならない。正直どうかと思う校則だけど、決まりは決まりだから。
そんな無茶な。悪いけど、そこまでの暇はないんだ。
でしょうね。
An equally terse response. She was typically to the point, but Tobimaru got the impression that she was expressly trying to keep her interaction with Sojiro short. They stared at each other in silence. Tobimaru stood breathlessly, silent on the sidelines while Sojiro broke the impasse.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。あ、いや違う。きっと分かっているんだな。うん。だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
Sojiro stood up from his seat. He walked past Alko and into the
そ
hallway.
れ明日からでいいんだろ？
しずきくんがいいならね。
He did his best to force a smile before leaving the student council room. So he's in the swim club now. Alright. While watching the events played out, Tobimaru found himself deeply impressed with Sojiro. He could tell from Alko's behavior that she was trying to get a rise out of Sojiro. Sojiro, on the other hand, didn't react. Heedless of what Alko was doing, he simply went on his way. To Tobimaru, it was hard to believe that Sojiro had not taken offense. From his point of view, Sojiro Poker Face had been the performance of a lifetime.
いや、でも何が強いんだろうな、会長。
He looked at Alko curiously. Alko stood completely still, staring at the wall.
青崎？
Alko showed no response. What the fuck? She's just so pissed, dude. You went to get your teeth cleaned on Thursday? You found a cavity? Gotta get it fixed this week. Damn, man, a cavity. That sucks. What are they gonna do? Drill? And give you a filling? Or something?
おい、会長。
Filling, yeah.
青崎。青子女子。おい。
Maybe it won't
聞
be
いて
that
んのかよ、
bad.
青崎青子。
Hopefully it won't be too expensive. Is on a tooth at the very end at the top? Dang, over here. Dang, man.
さいはね、青を呼ぶな。
A fairy echoed across the student council room. It was a beautiful... That sucks, because that's like your chewing teeth, or that's almost your chewing teeth. So... That's annoying. You just hate the numbing shots? Yeah. A fairy echoed across the student council room. It was a beautiful sound that could be heard into the hallway. It made Tobimaru rant from earlier pale in comparison.
やかましい。うるせえのはてめえも同じだ。
Perhaps her shouting was still ringing in his ears, but he was just the type to answer a shout with a shout. But he shot back reflexively.
そんなんだから男の一人もできねえんだよ、お前は。ほら、目覚めたか？
別にあなたの声は聞こえてた。煩わしかったから無視してただけよ。黙らせるの面倒だし。
てめえな、俺はカカなんかか、おい。
コミュニケーションが成立しない点で言えば、あっちのがまだ上品よね。
ほう、その心は？
お互い何を言ってるかわからない。意味のない会話なら、仰せみたいなものでしょ。
Based on that statement, Alko must have been under the assumption that dating was the act of two lovers whispering nonsense to each other.
問題は、お前にとって意味のある会話ってのがどの程度の価値かってことだが、いつになくきついじゃねえか、青崎。
Aozaki.
ちょっとね。
That's how you say her name.
今愛嬌振りまける状況じゃないのよ。
Aozaki.
不思議だ。この2年間で青崎の愛嬌なんてものは見たことがないんだが。
飛び丸のいない時に振りまいてたの。
そうかよ。やっぱりあの時のこと恨んでるんだろう、生徒会長さんはよ。
That was the only one thing that Tobimaru could be talking about. The incident that occurred in the student council room this past summer.
え？ずいぶんと昔の話じゃないそれ。そんなどうでもいいことに容量を使っちゃもったいないわよ。ただでさえ脳の覚醒部分が少ないのに。
As the conversation wore on, Alko's murderous aura began to fade, and her sharp gaze gave way to a calmer demeanor rarely seen from her. It was quite possible that nobody besides Tobimaru had ever seen this side of her at school before.
ご忠告どうも。俺だってあんなことは忘れてよ。ただ、さっきその字がバカなこと言いやがるから、つい思い出しちまったんだよ。くそ、考えてみりゃ場所まで一緒じゃねえか。
Despite his ranting, his face betrayed a touch of nostalgia. Alko, on the other hand, was scowling.
ちょっと待って。あの話彼にしたの？
おう、俺がてめえになんで会長になんか立候補したのよ。あんたは副会長って顔でしょ、どう見ても。なんて挑発されて生涯最高の月をしたところまでな。
He didn't tell him that part. Hold on. Told me my face has psychic. Akko let out a sigh, as if relief that Tobimaru had not told Sojiro the rest of the story. Even she wasn't sure why.
あれは確かにびっくりするぐらいいい月だった。思わず体が反応しちゃったもんね。ところで私そんなこと言ったっけ？
言った。しかも俺が保健室に運ばれたのをこれ幸いと強引に副会長にしやがった。
He went to the hospital. What happened? He went to the infirmary. Since that day, Tobimaru has served as the vice president to the person who usurped the role from him. What? Oh, she reacted! He punched her, and she punched him back. He went to the infirmary. Okay. Let's see.
いいけどな。俺に会長職は合わねえって分かったし、副会長の方が性に合ってやがる。会長なんてやってたら危うく親父みたいな野郎になってただろうしよ。
プライド高い分できることは全部やるからね、飛び丸は。会長職に先進するあまり気がついたら優等生になってたあんたも見たかったけど。
やめてくれ、ゾッとしねえ。猫かぶるのはお前だけで十分だ。
Tobimaru shooed Aoko away like an annoying pest. It was a typical example of a crude verbal abuse they exchanged on a daily basis, with a wittiness that only two longtime foes could manage.
で、なんでそんな話したのよ。
は？
半年前のここの事件を。
ああ、そっちか。いや、あいつがバカなこと口走ったからなんだが。
He stopped himself before he said any more. He knew better than to let slip the fact that Sojiro had a thing for Aoko. Everyone knew guys didn't sell each other out like that, even if it was all in truth and misunderstanding.
それより、さっきのはないんじゃねえのか、青崎。お前、宗十郎に恨みでもあんの
？7日以上前の恨みを引きずるほど私はお姫様じゃないつもりだけど。
He wanted to retort that she's more like a queen than a princess, but he come to know her too well over the past 2 years to dig himself into a hole like that.
恨みはないね。それにしちゃ恋に喧嘩売ってただろ。確かに調子の狂うやつだが、あいつほどいいやつはいねえだろうに。
What? What the fuck is that face? Is she, what is that?
おい待て。なんだその足元のシロアリを見るかのような態度。
So, that's a face of disgust? Okay.
別にあんたまでそのセリフを言うのかって心底から見下げ果てただけよ。
Wait! What the fuck? Man, Takeuchi is fucking godlike. He makes the best facial expressions. I like his facial expressions that he always make in pretty much any series he's been in, right? From all the way back OG Tsukihime to Stay Night to remake and now this.
まあいっか。いいやつ、いい人。
Even
結構
Hollow
じゃない？
Taraxia too.
喧嘩を売る相
What
手
the
としちゃ
potato
上
saver.
等
I
だ
never
わ。
forget that one.
誰も憎んであげないなら私ぐらいそうしないとね。
Let's see. She said casually, having regained her composure.
しないとねって、お前。
Tobimaru could not follow her reasoning at all. Tobimaru was used to Ako's erratic train of thoughts, but hating Sojiro for no reason seemed needlessly cruel. His friend's naive and innocent face come to mind, and then he blurted,
けど、 宗十郎は青崎が好きなんだぜ。それでも嫌いなのか？
His vow of silence had lasted not even 2 minutes.
いや、今のはな、青崎。
He tried to take it back, but it was too late. She had heard his words loud and clear. All he could hope for now was that she would take it well.
そりゃそうでしょ。好き嫌いは誰にもあるし。けどこればかりはね。彼が私と仲良くしたいって言っても、私は嫌いなんだから仕方ない。
Okay. Stone Cold Alco. Man, what the hell? Takeuchi the goat. Every time! Dude, how does he come up with all these faces? I like these facial expressions. Until Maru found himself filled with indignation of how detached Alco was being.
いや、そんなお友達感覚の話じゃなくてだな。そういう好き嫌いじゃなくて、その字は本気でお前に惚れてるって言ったんだよ。
He shouted, his face the embodiment of sincerity. Alco gave him a blank stare. It was the face of someone who had lost their wallet hours later and was only just realizing it now. The first instant of doubt that ushers in the reality of the situation. But an instant is all it was.
Ne?
She answered coolly, as if she had no idea why it should matter to her at all.
出ときたか。鬼でもなけりゃ悪魔だな。お前って女は。よかろう。聞こえなかったのならもう一度言ってやる。
Tobimaru gave up any pretense of masculine solidarity and fired back hard.
いいわよ、そんなの。つまらないもの。
She ruthlessly cut him off. Thinking of the boys who still harboring unrequited love for Alco, Tobimaru tries hard to come up with a name befitting the demoness in front of him.
なるほどね。それでさっきの話に結びつくわけだ。へえ、柄にもなく友達思いじゃない？殿下。ってことは、聞くも無残、語るも無情っていう私の噂話、教えてあげたんでしょ？
She laughed as a fiendish smile adorned her face. Tobimaru repented to God, whoever and wherever he or she might be. He or she? Okay, for ever bringing up Alco love life.
飛び丸にしちゃ正しい判断ね。褒めてあげるから、どんな話をしたのか聞きたいな、私。
He was smiling, but Tobimaru wished she'd at least tried to hide the bloodlust.
代表作とここでの事件を2つばかり。
Alco nodded with satisfaction as she listened to Tobimaru's hesitant answer.
こういう時、噂話って便利よね。うるさいのを追っ払ってくれるから。でも、そんな話を考えなしで広めたら大変だから、これからは気をつけてね。
Had this been in writing, the chilling sweet tone of her words could have been signed with her heart. Whether angry or happy, Aozaki spoke in a disturbingly cute manner when she was in a heightened emotional state. Tobimaru took note with this new discovery, aware that it did nothing to get him out of the situation.
ああ、俺も命は惜しいからな。口はもう滑らねえよ。けどよ、青崎。本気で宗十郎が嫌いなのか？
He knew that it was a topic he would be better off avoiding, but he tried asking anyway. The bond between men, at times, shine more beautifully than a pearl.
まあ、好きじゃないから嫌いっていうわけじゃないけど、私が彼のことを嫌う理由は自分でもわからない。だからダメなのね、きっと。
Perhaps to placate Tobimaru, Alco paused in contemplation before she answered. Giving it a moment without immediately blurting out response meant that not even he could complain.
そうか。ま、そういうことならしょうがねえか。何しろ、綺麗さっぱり感情論だ。お互い理由もなく好きと嫌いじゃ、手を貸す隙間もねえわけだし。
Thinking that would be the end of it, Tobimaru looked up towards the ceiling and silently apologized to Sojiro. However, his final sentence appeared to have piqued Aoko's interest.
待って。今の
Wait, what?
どういう意味？
What he said? His fox shirt had vanished. Failing to pick up on this, Tobimaru answered nonchalantly.
いや、あいつもさ、青崎に惚れた理由がわからないなんて言いやがってよ。ああ、違ったか。理由なんてないなんて意味だったかな。
Tobimaru was still in disbelief that Sojiro had been charmed by Aoko's appearance, so he purposely left that part out.
理由はないですって。
ああ、なんで。
Yeah, she looked pissed.
俺がいくらお前の噂話をしても無駄だった。天津さえなんて言ってたかな。そうそう。理由はどうあれ、青崎の心配は本物なんだとか、自分はそれで助かってるとか、俺なんかには言えないセリフだったのは確かだね。
Was this the foreshadow that Nasu was doing? He was like, this would affect the story. This misunderstanding starts the story.
はっきりしてんのは、
Oh
他の
shit.
野郎どもと違って、
Nasu to go.
噂を聞いても手を引く素振りなんざみじんもなかったってことだけ。
Nasu to go. Tobimaru finally noticed the shift in Aoko's demeanor. She was scowling at the wall. What the hell? Damn, man, she's pissed. She glared at it in silence like it was her worst enemy, and this continued for several minutes. That's why I say she kind of reminded me of Akiya, but Tsukihime. Because Akiya and Tsukihime, at least in OG, remake, she's not that pissed. I mean, she's pissed sometimes. But Akiya, she was always pissed too. Akiya was always pissed. That's what Akko kind of reminded me of Akiya.
何それ？さっきといいそれといい、どこかで聞いたようなことばっかり。
Dang. So great that that the gnashing of her teeth was audible. The irritation seethed until it reached the point that Aoko forgot Tobimaru was even in the room. Tobimaru looked heavenward for forgiveness, sensing that he brought further calamity down upon Sojiro's head.
少しわかったわ。なんであいつが気に食わないのか。
Tobimaru looked away as if to indicate that he'd rather not know, but Aoko ignored him and began to grumble venomously.
あいつ、私が嫌いなやつと言動が似てるのよ。
Alice?
誰彼構わずいい人扱いされるところとか、妙にふわふわしてるところとか、いちいち私の勘に触るところとか。
Glancing idly up at the clock, Tobimaru thought the last part just sounded like misplaced anger. And that was that. When the clock had come and gone.
わかった。もういい。この話をした俺が悪かった。で、俺に用ってのはなんだよ。言っとくけど、もう授業始まってるぜ。
え？授業って、なんで？いつ？
いや、さっきその字が出てってから、青崎がギラーンって壁に睨んでた時にチャイムが鳴ったんだよ。いいのか、生徒会長。5次元目ばっくれて。
Oh shit.
いいわけないでしょ！なんで黙ってんのよ、あんたは！
Damn, she's skipping fifth period. She looked like she was on the verge of tears as she shouted and pulled at his necktie. Tobimaru raised his hand in mock surrender, a gesture reserved only for the true victor.
蚊の方がエレガントなんて言いやがった仕返しだ。思い知るがいい。男の純情を踏みにじったり焼き殺したりするエリート悪魔め。
相変わらず細かく根に持つ男。言動には言動で返しなさいよね、卑怯者。
She tightened his necktie around his neck with a yank. The vice president smiled a thuggish grin, as if her reaction made his victory much more sweeter.
お前の古典が破滅に向かっているのは周知の事実。そして A 組の5次元目は言うまでもない。藤代のばあさん。青崎のこと嫌ってるしな。
Fujishiro Bachan. Fujishiro had one of the longest tenures at the school, so it was only natural that she would be in charge of teaching the classics.
さあ、こんなところで俺のネクタイを引っ張る余裕があるのなら、急いで自分の教室に立ち返るがいい。情けだ。別に止めはしねえよ。
くそ、あんたなんかにはめられるなんて。このまま死んでしまえ。
She choked him even harder with his necktie. As Akko put words into action and mercilessly strangled Tobimaru, he saw his life flash before his eyes.
いや、待て待て、本当に死んじまうだろうが。今ならまだ間に合う。10分過ぎたら遅刻から欠席扱いだぞ。
Akko glanced up at the clock. It was still only 7 past 1. Her route from the student council room to the second floor to Class A, classroom on the 3rd floor. Let me reread that. If it was only 7 past 1, her route was from the student council room on the 2nd floor to the Class A classroom on the 3rd floor. If she ran, she could make it.
命拾ったわね、飛び丸。
Akko clicked her tongue disappointedly. What disturbed Tobimaru was that it didn't sound like an empty threat.
あと放課後、ここにいて。頼みたいことがあるのは本当なんだから。
She was halfway out of the room before she even finished her sentence. Finally, all alone, Tobimaru closed the door, locked it. He locked the door and slumped into a chair.
たく。ああしてる分には楽しいやつなんだけどよ。青
You could
崎
just
は。
you could just lock the classroom or whatever he's in. He leaned back at the creaky folding chair and let out a sigh. The weather outside was beautiful, but the sunlight waned early in the winter. Before long, daylight would fade and the unheated student council room would grow colder and colder. All the good equipment, like the heater, had ended up in the main office, so he had no choice but to settle in for a chilly afternoon.
こんな天気が続けばいいんだがね。天気予報じゃ、また雲行き怪しいって話だが。
After a somewhat suggestive monologue, Tobimaru's mind drifted. He idly wondered to himself whether Sojiro was an overcast day or a clear day sort of guy, but no answers came. They're probably gonna make that scene like 5 minutes in the anime movie. There we go. Sit up back. Back support. The school day's over. Sojiro headed straight to his job. While the school had approved his job at the Chinese restaurant and fish market in Misaki shopping district, there was other works he hadn't mentioned to them. It was not because he knew they would complain at him working too many, but rather because of the illicit nature of one job in particular. Whoa, what kind of job has some illicit whatever? Today, his workplace was a Barchinko parlor in front of Yashiroki Station. Sojiro changed out of his school uniform into a Black Fox tuxedo uniform. They began cleaning the storefront. Yashiroki was the jewel of Misaki City, a busy place with a vast assortment of commercial centers and shopping districts. There were where there were people in mass, there were products made in mass. A romantic might describe it as a place of joy. A realist would note the free enterprise, and a cynic would point at all the garbage. Local authorities had attempted to beautify Yashirogi, but there was one basic tenet of society they could not overcome. This establishment was in the embodiment of that rule. Businesses such as this attracted the dregs of society, and as such, the front of the parlor had to be cleaned several times a day. Sojiro stood outside the winter cold sweeping used-up cigarette butts, picking up discarded flyers and tossing empty cans into the trash. Something about it must have reminded him of mountain life, because he cheerfully finished the job with ease. After making sure the storefront was acceptably clean, he returned to the inside of the parlor, where it was nice and warm. Blinding lights, deafening sounds, and the oppressive odor of tobacco assaulted him as he passed through the parlor on his way to the office.
店長、外回りの掃除終わりました。
はい、ご苦労様。それでいいかな。2階の40番台のお客さんの様子見てきてくれない？どうも懐に飲んでそうなんだよね。
His boss was a good-natured man who used to work a desk job. The reason he employed someone like Sojiro, even though he was clearly a student, was not because he admired him for working his way through school. It was because all the other employees were scary and intimidating, and he wanted at least one employee who was not.
いいんですか？トイレの掃除まだですけど。
いいのいいの。なんかね、カメラの死角にいるんでいまいち確証取れないの。そうちゃん、今のところ的中率 100% でしょ。様子見てきてくれないかな。
Hearing that, Sojiro put away his cleaning. What the hell? Equipment and headed upstairs. It was a typical large-scale pachinko parlor with 2 floors. It prided itself on being a local establishment that was satisfied with taking the locals' money little by little without resorting to more exploitative means. But regardless of the parlor's intention, its customers were not so scrupulous. Among them were casual players, professional gamblers, and cheaters looking to profit by exploiting whatever loopholes they could find. Of particular prevalence was a device developed in the mid-80s that could disrupt a machine's circuitry from the outside and make it much easier to get what's so-called a 777 jackpot. Damn, dude, people cheated in pachinko! Oh shit, nice. As much as the parlor wanted to deny these cheaters entry, excuse me, it needed to present hard evidence of cheating, or risk losing customers. Particularly in the service industry, innocent until proven guilty was not a rule taken lightly. As a result, they could only punish the customers they caught in the act. Such cheaters were known as Gotoshi, a slice of society which Sojiro knew nothing about. Yeah, I never heard of this before too. What he did know was that they were inconveniencing his employers and violating the rules. He went upstairs. The radio and game machine sounds on the second floor were quieter than the cacophony downstairs. There were 100 game machines on the ground floor and over 80 on the second. Damn, this is a big ass pachinko parlor. Really? 100 on the ground floor and 80 on the second? Okay. While there were some empty seats here and there, it was a solid evening turnout. The machine mentioned by his boss was in the center aisle. Sojiro nonchalantly leaned back against the wall and watched the customer hit the jackpot over and over again. Oh fuck! What's her face? It's isn't that Alko's sister? I remember her name. The second he saw her, his gut told her that she was not cheating. He still was not sure what made someone a master swindler, but if it meant they were special, this woman certainly fit that description. It was almost as if he could feel the luck emanating from her. As the customer looked on, she silently turned the handle again and again. She appeared older than Sojiro. She wore a green form-fitting one-piece dress. A pair of stockings covered one leg, her legs. Her slender legs were gracefully crossed. Her elegance suited a painting better than a casino. Her dark reddish hair was cut short in a bob, perfectly framing her stylish spectacle and crimson lips. Truth be told, something was off about this picturesque beauty ringing the jackpot over and over again. 4 boxes worth of pachinko balls sat on her feet, and her winning streak showed no sign of abating. She looked bored as her slender porcelain finger lifted a long cigarette to her
なん
lips.
かどっかで
Just as the thought crossed her mind, her gaze turned toward the wall and Sojiro. Suddenly, a chill ran down his spine. He reflexively covered his mouth to keep from shrieking.
あの人昨日の
Acting on pure instinct, Sojiro took off running. He had to streak downstairs, desperate to be not on the same floor as her. Oh, that's the lady that he saw in the park. He would have run straight out of the door, but for his obligation to a job.
店長早退します。それと2階の人は問題ないです。
He tried to keep his composure as he spoke, jamming his school uniform into a paper bag as he ran out of the parlor. Cloudy weather brought the shadow of night over Yashirogi as he ran through the shopping arcade toward the station. He shot up the long staircase like an arrow, quickly pulled his train pass from his wallet, and passed through the ticket gate. The ticket gate was crowded with people standing around, walking and talking. The station attendant by the automatic ticket machine had an unpleasant look on his face. There was now familiar, comfortable hustle and bustle around him. Just another day in the city. Nothing like what he witnessed the night before. He could finally breathe again. The momentary rush of relief brought him to an abrupt stop. He nervously turned around. There was no way that dangerous individual could be behind
って
him.
考えてみると
He couldn't think of a good reason for why he fled so desperately. As far as he could remember, he hadn't even seen the threat face long enough to form an opinion of her. Sojiro gave himself a good slap on the cheek to pull himself together. He quickly made his way down to the platform. Unfortunately, the next train was 10 minutes away, and panicking would do him no favor, so he quietly found an empty seat and sat down. He took another deep breath. He was surrounded by people waiting for the train like he was, and no sign of anyone pursuing him. What the hell? I feel like I'm losing vision. I'm losing vision. His head finally cleared up, and he assured himself that he was overthinking things, though he was surprised at how heavy his shoulders felt.
疲れてるのは分かってる。自分の体のことだし。
I think I need more water. That's what I need. Sojiro sighed at his greater than expected fatigue. He had certainly struggled since coming down from the mountains, but in retrospect, it could have been worse. Physically, he was probably holding up fine. He was much less confident in his mental state. The city and the mountains couldn't have been more different. He had been slow to recognize the difference and adapt. Acclimation was simply enough. Humans were nothing if not adaptable. Even without any effort, he will learn to adjust over time. Recognizing the challenges had been the hard part.
そりゃとにかく難しいことだらけだし。
Sojiro grumbled a complaint he turned never uttered before. To be honest, he was still afraid to wander around town. There were so many things city people took for granted that Sojiro had yet to grasp. It was little wonder that this never-ending chain of surprises would wear on him.
そっか。疲れてるのは体じゃないのか。 だからあんな幻を見る。
He muttered to himself and shook his head. That which exists, exists. Such was the way of all things. Tobimaru had called it a hallucination, but Sojiro knew what he saw was real. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. If there were real magicians secretly living here, that should have been no surprise at all. The thought alone made his legs tremble. It took him a moment longer to realize that they were quivering out of fear. He had feared the unnatural ever since he encountered a wild boar on a mountain path as a child.
いや、あれはこんなもんじゃなかったっけ。なりふり構わず泣き叫んだもんな、あの時は。
Sojiro smiled a little as he recalled his traumatic childhood memory. Anyone would have fainted at the sudden appearance of a growling beast that towered over 6 feet tall. Holy shit. Boars can be over 6 feet tall? The monster in the movie that Sojiro saw not 2 days ago was equivalent to a cuddly stuffed animal when compared to a wild mountain creature. Oh, never mind. 2 days ago. He was reminded that he faced far worse before, and his ordeal now was something he could endure.
そうだよな。今の問題はちらっと聞こえた最後のセリフか。捕まえて始末するっていうのはどうなんだ。
At face value, the meaning was obvious, but the implication was simply too frightening to contemplate seriously. Perhaps he had misheard the words, and perhaps the speaker had misspoke.
都会のルール。誰かがきっと罰しに来る。
Even as he said it, the idea didn't quite feel real. It was hard to imagine that it applies to him. Sojiro breathed in and closed his eyes. His vision dimmed, putting the illuminated cityscape out of sight and out of mind. For now, he resolved to put last night's events behind him. When he opened his eyes, his breathing had calmed.
それでさ、青崎を殴りつけようとして結局どうなったんだ、飛び丸。
The question suddenly popped into Sojiro's head. He decided he would ask him next time, and stood up from his chair. A long streak of light blazed by, announcing the arrival of the next train. Oh. What? That was chapter 2. That was really short. Let's see. Huh? What? That was chapter 2. What? That was kind of short. Is this game short? Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I kind of like that. They put chapters in books. That's kind of cool. Urban style. So what? Lunch of the our choice, whatever. That's cool. That's cool. This game's kind of cool. I like the style. What do you call it? The UI. It's really good. It's a lot better than Tsukihime Remake UI. It has a little bit more style. Tsukihime Remake UI was a little more straightforward. This one's like it feels like a book. That's what it feels like. This one feels more like a book. Like an actual novel. That's kind of nice. I guess we'll save there. That's chapter 2. This one feels like a setup though, right? Nothing really happened chapter 2. I guess the plot, the foreshadow that Nasu said, right? The misunderstanding is gonna probably start the story. Ako thinks Sojiro likes her, like as a lover, not as a friend, and now she's confused with her feelings, and then that'll start the story. Which on the holy night? Maybe it's like a setup to the story, and then Sojiro meets somebody that he said was a magician last night, with breathing fire and then Naginata. So I guess we'll see what happened in chapter 3. But that's next time. Chapter 3 is gonna be nice, I guess. So yeah, GG. I wonder. I can tell from Alice, at least the Alice. It didn't show me. If we didn't see the Alice fight scene, yeah, it's a really slow opening. That's for sure. I'm like 5-6 hours in, and it felt like nothing really happened. If we didn't get the Alice scene of her fighting, I would've been like, man, yeah, it's pretty. It's a really slow burner, but the Alice fight scene was sick, dude. It was so fucking good. I can't wait for the other action scenes, but it looked like chapter 3 is going to be the next action scene. I guess we'll see whenever I play chapter 3. Who knows when that would be. Yeah, we'll see next time. GG's for now. Yes. All right. Damn, 6 hours. All right, let me do this at least. I want to at least upload it. That was pretty short. 1 hour 30. That's okay, I guess. That's okay, I guess. Where is this one? Damn, I like this keyboard. This keyboard, nice. I'm thinking, I'm not gonna lie, I really want that saber key thingy. I would like that a lot. What the hell is this? Oh. I would like that a lot, but I don't know. I don't know if I have the funds. I wish I have the funds. I'm gonna look at it again. I'll try to do this. Alright. Put some music, I guess, on. Oh, mic's still okay, right? I think so. Maybe. I guess I didn't hear my mic in a bit. Test. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Yeah. I think it sounds okay. I'll watch the VODs later. Make sure it's okay. Maybe this new setup might be okay. Oh, you can see, right? Okay, cool. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I like this song a lot. It's a nice, comfy song. Vampire Crawlers. You know what I really want? Man, I want that saber thing so bad. Yuri. Let me scroll down real quick. Huh? Man, she got some titties. Yeah, I really want that saber stuff, dude. I really want it. You know what? I think I might get it. Then that's Shisho. Damn, I like Scathawk. Scathawk is a good ass character. She's like one of the only few characters I really like in Fate Grand Order. I like the Fate Grand Order beginners. Like Kiyohime. What's this? Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was like an AV. I've seen too many. Unfortunately. Is that Miku? It is. Alright. What's that saber thing? Is that Michael Jackson? Hmm? Where's Saber? Whoa. Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have to just do a double take too. Where's the Saber shit, bro? The Karma Phantasm. Where's Saber? Where is she? Oh, right here. Oh man, I really want this. Is this in Ami Ami or CD Japan only? You know what? I think I should buy all of them. Damn, May 15. Oh my god. When's the next check? When's May 15? Oh my god. Alright, how much is everything? How much? I won't get the keyboard. I'll get the buttons at least. Can I at least have the buttons? Pressure's here. Oof. Dude! Why is this so expensive? Man! Oh, what? Is this the keyboard? I don't want the keyboard. Can I get just the buttons? Can I have just the buttons, please? Oh, I guess I could get this. 25 bucks. How much is this? I can replace my F keys with Sabers. Oh my god, I kinda want to! Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I really want to! It's so cool! I wonder what I'll make it. I can make it F12 because that's the button I use all the time. Hell yeah. Or just having Saber on my keyboard would be so sick. I'll be so happy. Oh, she won't light up though. That's okay. Lighting up's for geeks. Oh my god, I really want it. It's so cute. Oh my god, look, it's so cute. Oh, you get stickers too. Oh man, I want one. Does it come with stickers? Alright. Maybe. I might. Maybe. Oh. This one's cool too, but it's not that cool. Dang, it's kind of cool. Damn, man, that's kind of cool. Oh, man. The Saber at the back is so sick. Oh, man. How much is this? 50 bucks? I might get this. And this is 40. Fuck, that's expensive. Fucking assholes. This is expensive. Cushion? I do want one. Dude, what am I going to use it for, though? Vibration stickers. What do I do this for? I don't know. Oh, there's nothing else to really talk about. I already talked about it this morning. I don't know when's the next time I'll stream. Gold Ship Week. Yeah, I don't know. Whoa, Suisei. That's cute. Bida bada bada boo. Yeah, my stomach hurt too. I think I gotta go to the bathroom. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. I talked about a lot earlier when I was streaming RE9. I may play some more games too during the week or weekends. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I kind of want to play RE4. I'm not gonna lie, I am in the mood. That Krabby Cat video kind of hit hard. It kind of makes me want to play RE4. Not RE4 remake, just regular OG RE4. I should play that. I don't know. I'll think about it more. No, some other stuff. Damn, I want that saber thing too, though. I probably won't get the pad. I don't see any use for it. I'll get this though. And the keys. It's like 25. Man, that's gonna be like $100. And it's gonna be fucking Japan. At least there's no more tariffs, right? I think tariffs been like revoked or whatever. I don't know. This is my current saber pad. I have this one. Kind of hard to see. But this is her. I have a saber mouse pad already. I really like this one a lot. I've been using this one for like years. I use this one for multiple years now since I started streaming Fate Grand Order. So, damn dude, almost 10 years. It's not this one that's been almost 10 years. I bought like 2. And I still like it. It's still good and clean. I don't really eat on the pad or anything like that. And my desk is not really that dirty. Because it's, I mean, keep things clean. Man, I don't know. I would like it though. This would be so sick. God, Saber's so cool. Damn, why is Saber so cool, dude? Why is she so cool? Why do I still like Saber so much? It's been over a decade and I still like Saber. That's cool. I don't know why, but I'll take it. I mean, she's cool as fuck, dude. What's this one? Art print. Whoa, that's cool too. And that's really fucking cool. That's a visible wind. That's like samurai style saber. Oh man, it's so, oh wow. That's crazy. Oh, it's so sick though, you know. I got a Hyuka painting of saber right there. You can't see it, but I have a painting of saber right there by Hyuka. Because I ordered the saber altar statue. It comes with Hyuka. Whatever, however you pronounce his name. The dude that did Steingate art. He did a saber altar art. And it became a Bishoujo figure. And I bought it. It's so sick. Damn, it's so sick. I still look at it because it's right there. I look at it every day. It's so sick, dude. And then there's the kimono wall scroll saber. I always like to look at too. I'm like, yep. Damn, why is saber so sick, dude? Fuck. I like saber a lot. I can't afford that fucking keyboard. That keyboard! I don't think that keyboard's worth it. I mean, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's okay. It's whatever. It's just saber colorway with Excalibur and design. Yeah, that's kind of cool, but I like Saber herself, not really her sword. That's why I think the keypads is way cuter. This one. I think this is way cuter. God, it's so cute. I don't like it. Damn! I'll be looking at Saber every day. Sweet. Yeah, I guess that's all I'm talking about. Hopefully I don't get too much overtime. If I don't get too much overtime, I'll play some games in the weekdays. And then on weekends I'll try to play Mihoyo. right? I think that'd be better. Save visual novels on the weekends, and then just play on the weekdays. I think that'll be better. Well, I never beat Hotline Miami. I guess it's something I could beat. There's some other shit too, right? Anyway, GG's. I got work tomorrow, so might as well try to get up bright and early. I guess we can look at one last thing. What's everyone playing? Mobile Suit Gundam? Oh, he's doing the thingy. Let's see. Dude watching anime on stream. Yeah, no one's doing anything. Everyone's just chilling, huh? Pragmata. They got that what's that called? Sponsor stream. No, it would say sponsor, right? So they're just playing Pragmata just because. Alright. Tomodachi Life. Pokemon. Book reading. Nice. I think books are cool. Obviously, because I like visual novels. Anyway, yeah, GG's. Alright. Gotta go. I appreciate everyone that stopped by. It's been cool. We'll play more next time, I guess. Anyway, have a good, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully the rest of the week will be easy. We'll see. Anyway, good night. Later. Bye.